Okay. Hi, everybody. I am just waiting for Ari to join us. Hang on one second. Alrighty. Awesome, Ari, I can see you. Let me try to get out of this. Okay, bring on. Hi. Okay, there you are. Ari, do you see something that says to join me? Last time I just, I click your name and it says bring on camera, but it says bring on camera to somebody else. So sorry. I will get this figured out a lot better. I don't know why sometimes it has all the buttons I want and then sometimes it doesn't. Okay, your viewers add. Yes! Oh, I think it's working. All right, it says we are adding. So we're just waiting. Hi, how are you?
I'm
I'm so
good, thank
sorry.
you. No, it was my
Goodness,
mistake. I realized I wasn't on my phone.
Oh, is that okay? I'm not sure why we only were able to do it like that on our phones. I guess that's something that they'll work on eventually. Anyhow, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yes, yourself?
I'm great. I know it's bedtime for us here in Texas. It's a little after 9. Um, and you are in Tasmania, which is so cool. So you are in a completely different day than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. So you're living in our future. That just cracks me up. So, anyways, thank you so very much for joining me today. I I don't know if you saw the other live, but this is experimental for me and a learning experience. So I'm really appreciative that you would want to be a part of helping me get all of this stuff figured out. And I'm just excited to hear what you have to share with us today. So
Yeah.
a lot of you, who have logged on, if you don't know me, I'm Christina Clark. I am, I guess you would call a digital entrepreneur. And so on my adventure, I have just run into so many amazing people with so many different stories to share that have helped me in my past month, figuring out my business and that kind of thing. So that's where Ari comes in and all these other people that you are going to see in the next few weeks. And so, like I said, Ari is from Tasmania in Australia, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about our mindset and how our female bodies kind of make it a little bit unfair for us, it seems. And then you're gonna share with us about what creatrix is. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but
Yeah, creatrix.
okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, well, so So go ahead and explain to them what exactly what we got going on today.
Yeah, so I just sort of I think you were putting out the call out for people interested in sharing interesting stuff with your podcast, and that sounded like a really exciting project to be a part of. And I just wanted to be able to, I suppose, share with your viewers a sort of a different take on mindset. You know, I think as entrepreneurs, we're learning more and more how critical having a good mindset, working on our mindset, developing our mindset is in regards to how successful we are and what success even is. And yeah, so I kind of got into that myself and learned all about how actually for women in particular it's a bit different. There's a lot of stuff out there, but there's some subtle differences and tweaks that as women, as female entrepreneurs, we need to make in order to be able to be, you know, working optimally in our businesses.
Wow. So you know, when you're out on your own and you are connecting with all these people who, you know, talk so positively and they keep talking about this mindset that we're supposed to have. And so there's been times where, or in the past few years, I'll get on that mindset and then I'd fall back off. And then I'd get back on and I'd fall back off. And never did I really none of it really crossed my mind that some of that could have had to do with like what's going on in here physically and how it really impacts like what I'm doing, how I think about it, you know, my motivation and, you know, my energy and that kind of thing. So like for me personally, I just, you know, I have 4 kids. And so in the last few years, my body's been crazy. And so I know that there's a lot of other moms who are trying to get back into the swing of things and all of that. So what do you have to share with us, you know, to help us kind of have more an advantage over, you know, those things that are kind of like our weaknesses being a woman?
Yeah. Well, I'd first of all, I'd start off by actually putting a bit of a twist on that and saying that it's not a weakness at all. In fact, it's kind of like our female superpower that
Mm-hmm.
we have access to. I think the
Okay.
reason why it's always been,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's viewed as a weakness, I suppose, because traditional mindset, traditional coaching, life coaching, and things like that is very much geared around, you know, you've got to be consistent. You turn up every day the same, no matter what, can rain, hail, or shine, you're the same every single day. And that's because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the sort of early mindset and, you know, even like, you know, NLP and different sort of processes and modalities were designed and developed and tested on men. And a lot of the really big, popular, you know, gurus out there, you know, they're men. And so what they talk about totally works for them. Their hormonal levels, you know, they go through puberty. That's a bit of a fun time. And then it's pretty even keel. But, you know, where
Mm-hmm.
women are not like that. Our hormone cycle, we've got, you know, we're
Mm-hmm.
up one part of the month and another. I know my mum, I mean, she's in her 70s and she's like, oh, you know, like a quarter of my life has been spent feeling like I can't do anything and I just want to set people on fire. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I
no. Yeah.
I love that. She's like, yeah, I kind of want to set people on fire sometimes. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So I
I've
think,
noticed that too. I've noticed that too. It just seems so unfair because there's really only like 4 to 5 weeks out of the month, right? And then it seems like 2 of those weeks out of the month. So more than half of my life, I am being influenced by all of this biochemical stuff
yeah.
going on.
Yeah. But this is why we have to see it as a powerful thing and to flip our thinking around it, because I think, yes, we have been in like, oh, you know, like half my life I'm, you know, not functional, like this is really bad. And that's because we're actually fighting against our natural flow who, you know, of who we are. And so it's like swimming upstream or going against the current. You know, it's hard work. And so we feel like for half of our life we're just grinding our way through things. But if we can flip our thinking and go, I'm going to do what I need to do in each of those phases, I'm going to be more productive. I'm going to be far more rested. You know, this is actually something that is going to benefit me. So I always talk about it, and you know, a lot of the practitioners out there who are familiar with using that, harnessing that female factor, we talk about our cycle, kind of like seasons. And it's like, I find it easy to remember that way, because it's like, you know, winter is when, you know, we've got our period and we just want to hibernate and eat everything and have everyone leave us alone, and we're like a grumpy bear. If you poke us with a stick, we're going to take you out, kind of thing. And autumn is that leading into it. So that's that premenstrual time where we're just like, things are starting to change. We're not feeling great. Our tolerance threshold starts to go down. And then, you know, when we come out on the other side of the winter, you know, it's spring, new growth, new energy. We feel bouncy like the little lambs in the field, like we've got stuff we want to do. And summer
makes you want to wear a dress.
Summer is that summer loving. We're just like, yeah, it's summer. I'm feeling good, and everyone's beautiful, and I love you. And if we think about that, right, we can then work with that. So what happens is, normally in our winter phase, we're going, I've got to do some stuff, I've got to turn up every day, I've got to be consistent, and we're forgetting that we need more time to sleep. We need more calories. We need, like, we're not actually, sorry, my 2-year-old's like banging around in the kitchen if you hear that. We're not designed to be putting energy out in that phase where, you know, we are shedding, we're letting go, we're, you know, so if you want to use that phase and harness it, that's when we can look back on our system, look back on what's worked in our business, look back, you know, reflect on what's happened and what we need to let go of, and what things we might need to tweak and change as we go forward. And really do some internal work. Oh, great. Really do some internal work around, sorry, I've been handed a peanut butter. Do you want to get a spoon? You get a spoon? You go get a spoon. If we can actually use that as a really powerful, productive way of doing things, but it's more rested, it's that internal, going inside of ourselves. Same thing with our, you know, in our PMS phase, our autumn phase, as we're leading into that, we're hypercritical. It's a great time to be looking over contracts and paperwork. We are really tuned into the detail, and we're less influenced by other people. So we're not likely to kind of, you know, be all loved up because someone's saying nice things and, oh, you should really buy this because this will be amazing. We're less influenced by that. So we're a bit more critical and scrutinize things carefully. So that's a great time to be looking, you know, if you want to go and buy a car, a secondhand car or something, do it when you're in autumn, because no schmoozing car salesman is going to talk you into it. You're just like, I'm going to critique this and get all the details. Right? So it's about and then if we've used those phases well, and we've looked over our paperwork, we've reviewed what we're doing, we've mapped out what we want to do and what we want to change and tweak going forward, then when we hit spring, right, and our hormones go up and we get more energy, we've got greater clarity of thinking, we really become quite focused and blinkered. So that's when that phase is getting stuff ticked off your to-do list. That is all the planning that you did in your winter, all that prep, all that, you know, going through ideas. That then is spring, you action it. You're out there, you're doing things, you're booking calls, you're doing lives, you're batching content, you're doing all of those things. You're not feeling like you need to have extra hours of sleep. In fact, you may even find you can do like more on less hours of sleep because you're more energized. So you can get heaps done. You're
Oh,
super
okay.
productive. Absolutely smash it all out. Brilliant. You'll get more done in that phase, prepped appropriately, than if you tried to push through the other phases and try and do all this stuff when you just
Right.
need to go inward. And then summer, that summer loving time, and that, like, FYI, anyone who's got a male partner is like, summer loving is summer loving. So get the guys in on it, man, because they're like, right, where are you in your phase? Right, I'll just throw chocolate at you right now and clean the house and wash the toilet and, you know, scrub the toilet. And then it's like, got it, roger that, I'm
That's
out,
awesome.
like, kind of thing. And then other times they're like, so where are we now? So it's a good thing for relationships as well. It helps you communicate what's going on when, you know, if they're kind of like, while you're in winter, you're just like, mate, don't even, just
Don't.
unless the house is
I'm being a bear.
right, just right. So it helps communicate your needs as well and your boundaries. And then summer, it's also, that's networking time. That's when you go out and you do those coffee brunches and things like that, where you're connecting with people and making connections and going to networking events. And that's when you can show up on video a lot more as well, rather than doing text posts. You can do more video posts because you're more out, going out there, sort of thing. You're more charismatic. Right, so you feel like socializing, and you meet people and they think, wow, that she's really got it going on, because you feel it, you're feeling it. If you're trying to do that stuff when you've got your period and you're thinking, I just want to go to bed, I don't want to be here, that energy comes across to people and they go, can't put my finger on it, but she just didn't seem to be like she even wanted to be there. It's like, yeah, true. So if we harness that, right, if we harness it, go with it rather than fighting against it all the time, we're consistent. You know how they say you've got to be consistent? We are consistent, but our consistent is over a month, not day by day. Female consistency is over a month. And if we show up, you know, in our super hyper productive phase, spring, and do all the doing, and in our summer we do all of our networking and connecting, and then in our autumn we do all our critical thinking and planning and reflection, and winter we do all of the internal, you know, personal development stuff, and we work on us and we plan what we want to do the next time. And then spring comes around and we're like, right, I don't even have to waste a second thinking about what I need to do. I'm on it. I've got my list. We are amazingly productive.
Yeah, it sounds like we're able to accomplish way more, because sometimes whenever I am having my shark week or whatever you want to call it, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to think about anything. You know, I don't want to do dishes. I don't want to cook. But I love this angle because, like you said, we're harnessing all of these kind of like different personalities that we have throughout the month. And instead of it being something that holds us down and being like, okay, I'm just going to sit on the couch and eat cupcakes the whole time. Like, while you're sitting there eating cupcakes, you could be reading and YouTubing new skills or whatever. So
meditate, go for a walk, do whatever it is that you need to fill your cup.
So I love that it's like you accept all of these different phases that you know you're going to be in all the time. And I love that you're not suppressing that and like encouraging us to do the day by day and to keep pushing, because after a while, you know, maybe you'll have a really good month where you're constantly pushing, but the momentum can be lost just like that, just because you might be a little bit more extra crampy this month. And so now that, you know, this comes to light and I'm realizing you know, how I can use this to my advantage. How do we get organized? How do we start organizing ourselves? Do we write in a calendar like, okay, this week is what we do, or how do you organize your life?
Look, absolutely. I think the first thing is tuning in and making sure you know what that is. That which is really easy for some people, and other people, like if you've had a hysterectomy or you're postmenopausal, that can be quite challenging. You still have a cycle. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not as obvious. So sometimes you have to spend a little, like a month or two just tracking what's going on in terms of your energy and your mood and all of that, just to kind of tune in, but a really obvious
Mm-hmm.
pattern will appear. And then when you've got that,
Mm-hmm.
I always say to my clients, bottom line is the world doesn't stop just because you've got so you can't just opt out of life and go, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it. But you
I
can
know
be smart about it.
my
So
daughter, I swear. Yeah, it's funny because my daughter, she cracks me up. She's 16, and so she has these times where she really wishes she could use that as an excused absence to just like, I'm going to be out all week. And she'll just, you know, she'll have that whole week where she just can't, she doesn't want to learn, she doesn't, you know, do as well on grades and stuff. And so I'm excited to like tell her about all this stuff because this is really, you know, the whole woman thing is very new to her. And so if I'm able to
yeah,
use this and teach her this from the beginning, like she'll have a really good head start when
yeah,
she starts getting out there and doing her own thing. And so that's really cool. So,
yeah,
all right. So the first thing is to
yeah,
track our pattern, right? That's what you were saying.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then the second thing is to think in terms of, what you need to do. I mean, I'm not advocating that you look through your calendar and cancel all of your appointments that fall in in your winter phase or something. Oh, well, that cancel all those. I'm not suggesting that. And there are times where like
Yeah.
you can't, like you have to do it. But it's sometimes understanding like, okay, I'm going to have to turn up. Like the other week I took on I was doing content in someone else's group. Like I was a guest producer in their group. And I was in winter. And so it was kind of like theoretically the worst time to be doing it. But I can't just go, nah, not doing it. But it's
Right.
about
Yeah.
understanding that I'm going to be a bit more tired at the end of this day. I'm going to need to give myself a few extra breaks between things. I'm going to need to maybe pre-prepare some content so that I can just ping that in and take the pressure off. It's about that sort of stuff. And so we
Mm-hmm.
can do that. I mean, we want to be consistently turning up on social media and on our different platforms, but we can batch content. So when we're feeling really productive, we don't make one video, we make, 4, 5, 10 videos that we can then schedule for later when we're not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
we want and we think everyone can just
Yeah.
go to hell in a handbasket, I don't care. Right? And then we can just feed that out, drip feed that out. Everyone else thinks she's
Uh-huh.
amazing. She's turning up all the time. She's everywhere. And you're sitting on the couch, binging on Netflix, eating whatever the thing that you could pull from the pantry, thinking, I am nailing my business right now. So that's the way that
That is
works.
awesome. That's awesome. It's cool to see like how you've balanced everything. And so like I feel like I'm a complete wreck all the time just because you know, life is unbalanced all the time and I'm trying to catch up on sleep and I'm trying to catch up with, you know, catch up with my kids and so I'm excited to like make this new little plan. My husband got me a little calendar thing, our
Ooh, I like
business planner. And so, yes, he's so cute. Look at that. He picked that out. He even FaceTimed
nice,
me. He was like,
nice.
what do you think about this? It's like, oh, I love you. You're so sweet. He's like, it even has stickers. I'm like, oh, great. But
Yay! Bonus point for
anyways,
you.
I know. So that is really neat. So for somebody who needs you, like they need coaching, how can you help them? What can they do to get in touch
Yeah.
with you or, you know?
Yeah, so I basically have a couple of programs that I offer. And I come from a teaching background. So I'm very much about, I'm probably, it's funny, I call myself a coach, but I'm probably don't act, I'm not actually a coach in the sense that sometimes I'll, hold space and draw out questions and, and then other times I'll just call it as it is and go, I mean, I'm terrible. I reckon the number of times I ask my clients when they're messaging me going, something's just not working and I don't know what it was. And I'm like, where are you in your period? If you went, have you got your period? Oh, okay. I think it's the weird, like asking people that. But at the same time, it's like, I need to know because it will change how
You need to know what
is
season
this
you're
a real
in.
problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, what season you're in? Because is this a real problem that can wait and then next week it won't be a problem? Or is this an actual problem that we need to deal with? And
Uh-huh.
so I do teach a lot. I teach a lot of, I mean, this sort of stuff, I love giving this information so that people can then go away and use it. But I also
Mm-hmm.
am a coach in that true sense of like drawing things out of you and helping you discover your own things. So I basically have a few core offerings. I have a course that I've created, which is all about I mean, I suppose technically it's goal setting or it's goal getting. It's how to get to your goals. It's called Goal Getter Formula for Heart-Centered Women, and it's really just taking you through getting aligned, making sure that your goals, moving away from that traditional goal setting that we've been taught about consistently
Mm-hmm.
turning up and smashing your goals and I just don't do things like that. So it's about the mindset behind it and identifying where you might have blocks and limiting beliefs and using that to really actually set yourself up for success rather than, going for this goal that really you're just going to be sabotaging the heck out of it the whole time. So that's a course that's
Mm-hmm.
completely independent, it's self-directed. But for my ladies that want they want coaching. I used to do it as a group coaching program, and I decided that for accountability reasons, I wanted to be working with people one-on-one, where they had to turn up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right, rather than like a group where it's like they might or
Yeah.
they might not. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you want to do the
Yeah.
course, do the course. You want support, we do it one-on-one. That's where I'm going to get you the results.
Right.
I can guarantee that then as well. Like I can feel really confident what I'll get. So then there's the coaching, which also
Mm-hmm.
gets them that course. So they still have access to that, but they have that one-on-one coaching. And then I have my major program, which is Creatrix. So that's a breakthrough process. It's where we identify all of their limiting beliefs and blocks and we actually clear those and like reprogram them. So rather than having a thought like, oh, who am I to want that, or I don't deserve that, or I'm not worth it, or
Mm-hmm.
fear of rejection, or fear of a million, like there's a bazillion different variations. And we
Mm-hmm.
reprogram them, we clear them and reprogram them, and then they have access to some coaching and that online course to help them go, okay, clean slate, now how do I want to move forward? So they're my three main
Mm-hmm.
offerings. But for people who want to just test me out, that they're like want to dip their toe in the water, they kind of want to do coaching, but they don't want to commit to a full coaching package. I have my up level booster, and that's just one coaching session and some Voxer support. And that one is just a really nice, okay, this is how I work. I'm going to get you through this first 30 days. And I mean, my clients already,
Uh-huh.
they're sort of, 2 weeks in and they're like, right, when do I need to book my next one? So yeah, that's a good
Right?
little
Awesome. That's
taster.
great.
Yeah,
So how long have you
yeah.
been
So that's
doing
how,
this
that's how.
for?
I
Okay.
have been doing this now for about five. Look, I started coaching in 2014. And I had had my creatrix breakthrough then, but I wasn't licensed to do it. And then in
Mm-hmm.
2015, I was going to quit my teaching job. I was pregnant with my third child, and I was going to, have 4 months to get my business on track. And then Bub would be there, and then it would be me and Bub against the world kind of thing. And I already had two other children, so my third child. And then early 2015 in February, I actually lost my baby. So that obviously threw things out a lot and just sat me on my butt, really. I was devastated. I was 30 weeks pregnant and the news
Oh
came
my
through
gosh, that.
and yeah. So
Wow.
that really slammed me. And sorry, my fourth child is pulling everything out of my pantry right now. So just keeping me grounded, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
so but I come through so much with that experience that I realized that, wow, the creatrix breakthrough that I'd had in, a year earlier had actually really changed my life. I just didn't realize how much so until I'd been tested in such an intense way. And that's when I committed to becoming a creatrix transformologist and training. And so 2015, sort of June, July, I became licensed as a creatrix transformologist, and that's when I really started to actually focus on my business. I was still teaching. I still teach now. I'm, different pathway, make a few different changes. Life's not a straight line. The plan doesn't go perfectly, and we make adjustments and tweaks along the way, which is really, that's really become part of my whole philosophy around working with what you've got and making the tweaks and changes and not beating yourself up about the fact that it's not exactly how you want it to be. Because I have learned in a really powerful way that life does not work that way. So you kind of got to work with it.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever, in not 2000 and, when was it? It had to have been 2014. My husband and I had gotten pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage right before the end of my first trimester. And normally, I am a very happy-go-lucky person, bubbly, smiley. But for that whole year, like I was just completely, just not in a good headspace. And so I love that. I mean, not that I love that you went through that experience, but I love that, that is a really big challenge for a lot of us women who, some of us don't have just one miscarriage either. Like there's some friends that I've had that had like 3 or 4. And so, they get back up and get kicked back down. And so that is awesome that you have that real deep personal experience for something that really keeps a lot of us down, and some of us never get back up. And I'm glad that I was able to find the strength to get back up and keep going for the kids I have now. And but man, that really messed me up, and I knew that I wasn't being myself. And so I'm glad that you would be able to handle that if somebody, was to come to you and, said, I'm dealing with this or whatever. You're not just going to kind of push them into this general herd of people. You have a real, true, deep experience with something that a lot of us go through that we don't really like to talk about.
The other thing, no, it's so taboo. It's such a taboo topic, and you get such interesting responses when you start talking about it as well. And I find the one that I find really quite challenging is actually women who've had miscarriages and almost apologizing because they're like, oh, well, it's not as bad as what you went through. And I'm thinking, it's not a hierarchy of grief. Like it's not, everyone's suffering through this stuff. And I think the other thing is that, yes, there is a tendency to kind of say, oh, you need to compartmentalize your life. Like that's not your business, that's your personal life. So you need to keep it out. And it's like, it's all personal. Like for women, especially, I think our businesses are personal. So
It
I
is,
don't
yeah.
believe that we should kind of, keep it separate and never the two shall meet. Like I think
Hmm.
that that's naive and it sets women
Hmm.
up for failure. It's the same thing about, oh, you've got to turn up consistently every single day, and we'll ignore the fact that you have a
Hmm.
cycle that means that you're literally a different person from one day to the next. I think that's setting women up for
Hmm.
failure. And then they beat themselves
Yeah.
up because they're like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get myself organized? Why can't I keep this together?
Hmm.
Like, why am I
Hmm.
so hopeless? And you're not, like, no one is. Like, and I
Yeah.
used to do that. I used to do that to myself. And it took me a long
Hmm.
time to get to that point of like, I'm not a failure. This is like I'm trying to run and it's like trying to run a PC, like Windows on a Mac or something. You're running a different
Yeah.
program on an entirely different system. It's not going to
Yeah.
work for you. So stop beating
Hmm.
yourself up about why isn't this working? Why can't I get it working? Go and get the program that's meant to be running on your system and you will be
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
You will, right? Yeah.
Hmm. That is amazing. Again, I thank you so much for giving me the time today. We're My goodness, we've been almost 45 minutes. I've been loving this conversation. So I'm going to post your link after I post our live so that people
Yeah.
can input their information to get in contact with you. Um,
Yeah.
Let me see. Is there, okay, hang on one second. Let me make sure. Okay, so um, my mission with these little lives is to basically, plant seeds of inspiration and hope and ideas. And so, if for anyone who's finally coming on, what would be the one thing that you want them to take away from this conversation? What is the most important seed that you want to plant for everyone today?
I think definitely that the seed I'd want to plant is understanding that if they're a female entrepreneur, that is that operating system, that you need to be working within your female system. And I don't mean feminine and masculine energies, that's a different thing. I mean literally your female biological system that impacts so much of us and embrace that. And as I said, that flipping that thinking of not going, we're disadvantaged 2 weeks out of 4, but actually looking at those as this is an advantage. I can harness this and leverage it in a way that's going to actually be like powerful. And I think, yeah, so embrace that female that female factor, embrace it and
Accept it.
harness it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Go with it. Go with the flow.
Awesome.
Like, yeah.
Go with it. Yeah, go with it, flow, literally, just.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope that we get to do this again. And maybe we'll
Me
have
too.
some more questions. If anybody has any quick questions, go ahead and type them in. I think we're alone, though. Looks like we're
Yeah.
alone right now.
Cool.
But,
Might be late because it's late over there, isn't
anyways,
it?
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking my kids would be in bed and, um, you know, they like to do their own thing when they know mom has something going on. Like when I was trying to talk to you the other day on the phone, Wyatt doesn't really make that much noise until I'm doing something. And then, oh, I want to talk and I want to do all this stuff. But anyway, well, thank you so much again. I'm going to post the link and I really look forward to this connection that we have and having you in my corner so I can be like, okay, I think I'm being a winter bear
Yes.
right now. Like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Reel me in because I kind of want to eat somebody right
Yeah.
now.
Right?
All right. Well, you
Awesome.
have a great day and I will talk to you again
I
soon. Thanks so very much.